This is Amber. She is the tricky hero of the good guys archetype. Good guys, and remember, good guys is just the placeholder name for the team. That's a specific archetype and the good guys team and the lore and the story. So all the art, all the names, the good guys team especially, all of that is just naming that we use for playtesting. It really needs to get better. I really don't like it for now. So assume all of the names are going to change. Assume the good guys team affiliation will change, and then the art, of course, will change. I'm working with my artist for all these, specifically on Amber right now, actually. So that's a lot of fun. So yeah, keep that in mind. So today for Amber, we're going to go over her story, which is pretty good. I like Amber's story quite a lot. And then we're going to go over her kit and how she plays and how she fits in with the good guys. So hopefully if this is one of the videos you're watching to get to know Grit, or you're trying to understand how the game plays or how the good guys play and the good guys quote unquote archetype plays, this will give you a really, really good idea of that. So let's start with Amber's story. Amber was originally named Azira, and she lived during the dinosaur era. So that's like, prehistoric times, before any of the story of Grit ever took place, but in the same world, basically. It was a primitive yet really, really culturally advanced time where basically all the carnivorous dinosaurs ruled. So she would be one of those ruling parties. The world was war-torn, but and survival really depended on your strength, the unity of your tribe, and this reverence for the stars. These stars were kind of like the big deal back then. Azira was a part of a tribe of carnivorous dinosaurs that were guided by astrologer elders, and those were called star seers. Pretty loose naming for now, but we're going to call them star seers for now. She idolized the hunters of her tribe as she grew up, and she trained relentlessly to master archery and traps and survival skills. Eventually, she became a member of the tribe's elite hunting team and earned a lot of trust and admiration through her own bravery and her own skill that she had honed over these years. And then eventually, Azira led her team to their every destination. She was the tracker. She was the hunter. She was the one that could survive. She was good at getting to and from places safely. And then because of all of this, she formed an unbreakable bond with her team after all of their many trades of saving each other's lives throughout the many expeditions that they had been on. So she has this team, they saved each other's lives hundreds of times, blah, 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 and they're a unit. One day, as all stories have, the Star Seers, which are the elders, foresaw a catastrophic event in the stars that threatened the tribe's survival. The Star Seers then devised a plan to preserve 10 individuals, 10 people from their tribe, using a kind of like feigned death magic that could rebuild the tribe after their disaster. So Azira's and the others that were going to be preserved were given new titles to live by. The Starseers wanted to name people who were going to go into this new world. So they wanted new names. Azira was given the title of Amber because it kind of resembled the sun. And the way that they were being preserved was by this crystallized amber. So for like the amber that would preserve her and the rest of the 9 other people that it could preserve, Amber would lead the tribe into kind of its new dawn, into this new sun, and that resembled the amber. And that's how she got the name Amber. So she was preserved within the crystallized amber with her weapons, her armor, a bunch of keepsakes, and then she drifted into this magical sleep through this feigned death magic. And then thousands of years later, she reawoke. But unbeknownst to her, the crystal was strong enough to protect her body, but the event that caused this catastrophe sent all of these preserved individuals in this crystallized amber across the world. So essentially meteors hit the world and it sent all the ambers flying because of its impact. So she was effectively alone when she awoke. However, the Cat Empire, which is once again the ruling nation, the ruling species within the world or the region that we're talking about in Grit, Valen. The Cat Empire is just a name for now. Which was a much more technologically advanced society than Amber was used to, had revived her and wanted to use her as a weapon of war. So she didn't see any of her people. She decided to get out of there as best as she could, and she did her best to use her hunter skills and her abilities that she grew up to train and hone. And she escaped from the Cat Empire's testings and labs. Even though now she's in this really frightening and unfamiliar world that is now the modern age of Grit as we know it. So she struggled with the loss of her tribe. She's got these new alien modern creatures that she's dealing with. She doesn't understand any of the languages and can't communicate with anybody. And just being like this like lonely feeling of being the last of her kind, potentially the last of her kind, if she's the only one who survived because she doesn't know anybody else who did. So she's on the run, basically. She's trying to find some place that's safe. However, the Cat Empire doesn't lose things easily, and they hired the Guild, which is another faction and archetype within the world of Grit and the gameplay, to track her down. And so the Guild always is able to do what they need to do. So as she fled into a really far-off forest from the Cat Empire, there was some sort of like, I think solace. Solace is the right word, or rest and reassurance of some kind. She found in a kind of familiar wilderness, in these large kind of almost feeling jungly forests that she was able to find as she ran until eventually she was captured by a large like snare trap that held her. And with that, she knew that a trap like this, something that she might have made way back in the day, but was much stronger, much more advanced. And it's, a little bit ironic that she was caught by a trap that she potentially helped create, thousands and thousands of years ago. Until she was saved by a deer, a lowly passing deer in these beautiful cosmic robes, who somehow was able to speak Amber's language. And she claimed to have foreseen Amber's capture. So, because of this deer seer adorned in starry robes, having foresaw this tragic event that Amber had found herself in, she immediately trusts Katrina, who is the deer seer, which is, Katrina's another good guy character. Seen as this divine sign is kind of the same as her tribe's star seers. And she finds, once again, another reassurance and like guiding presence to her that she has now with Katrina. So they form a partnership. I think in Katrina's story, we say that's a life bond or a life debt, but this is more accurate to what it actually is, in that they immediately become partners. Amber really finds solace in Katrina. Here, let me grab Katrina. I should probably have done this the other times. Amber and Katrina meet, and Amber finds an immediate kinship with Katrina due to her starry, ill-fated omen kind of vibe that she has, because they're very similar to the tribe that she dealt with when she was, alive in her time, in her era, whatever you want to call it. So the two form a partnership, and they with Amber's tracking skills and nature skills and Katrina's foresight for tragedy, they're able to get out of the forest and away from the mercenaries. They discover the sanctuary, which is an inn for war refugees run by Hilda. That Katrina foresees an attack upon and is destroyed and burnt to the ground. To which then everybody except for maybe Amber, who's off doing her own thing, kind of waiting to see if the coast is clear, as Amber kind of infiltrates the sanctuary for them. With the help of Katrina, Melody, Hilda, and Rush, they all help the people burning in the burning building of the sanctuary, and they all eventually meet up. And through this, Katrina accepts them as an ally because of their bravery and their intentions, and then Amber does the same because of Katrina and Amber's immediate bond of her saving her life, of Katrina saving Amber's life. There we go. Then they learn of the arena, and Amber realizes that if she can beat the arena, or she can win, or whatever it is that she needs to do, she can ask the gods for the locations of the preserved tribe that she has. And so her whole goal is to ask them where this is, a map, a way to know, or the exact locations of her missing tribe that was meant to be with her in this new modern time. So that is Amber's story. We really like Amber's story. We think it really fits in with the rest of the squad. She's cool. We like Amber. So what's up with Amber? Amber's kit. Let's start with her hero ability. So she's purple. It might look a little blue or not so purple, but she's meant to be purple, a tricky character. And she has the ability, after you flip one or more cards in your tenacity face up, draw one card. So there are so many cards that flip cards in the Good Guys team. It's insane, actually. So whenever you do that while playing as Amber, you get to draw cards, which is good because her hand size is so low. So I think this could be better. I think this could be a better ability, honestly, because sometimes it's hard to do as Amber because your hand size is so low. So you want to like flip a card, which draws you a card, but your hand is empty and you can't really do anything with it. So this could be better, but I like the idea of it. So yeah, that's her ability. After you flip a card, draw a card. Then she has her signature weapon, which is her ancient bow. It gives her +1 attack, which is insane. That's it. It's just insane for a tricky hero to have this, which gives her 5 attack. And then it has an exhaust ability. After equipped hero makes a successful hit with a basic attack. So that means when she makes a basic attack and she is able to successfully hit, triggering a stamina card, you get to flip one card in your tenacity. And so that works with her ability because then you can draw a card from that because you've hit. So there's a lot of good things that happen, but your opponent really wants to defend this. So you kind of have to either bring her out when you see your opponent is defenseless. Yeah, it's kind of hard. So I think this could be better in a way that gets you the hit or gets you the ability more often. Okay, 1 cost, reposition. This is a defense card, and it says prevent 1 damage, which is really bad. But you can discard 1 card from your tenacity. Then if the top card of your discard pile is a trap card, which it should look a little bit different, but that's okay. A trap is a kind of skill card. Then you can prevent 3 damage instead, which is very good. But it requires you to discard a trap. So this is really good to clean up your tenacity a little bit. It also is really good in case your traps aren't really working. You can kind of get them off the line and get them into a place where you're actually using them. But the more important thing for this card is the affinity, which is draw 2 cards. That's insane. This card is effectively free for Amber, but that's kind of required because remember, Amber has a 3 cost hand size. So it's very lucky if she draws this and is able to play it and trigger its effect. So a lot has to go right for that, I believe at least. That reposition is really good for Amber and is great for Amber, but good for others. And that's good. I like that. So she has 3 different traps, and this is her thing. She has traps, and this is a mechanic that is completely specific to her for now, but I think will be kind of used as a tricky mechanic going forward. So poison trap is a skill, so it's a 1 and done. You just do what it says. This is specifically has the trap attribute trait. There we go, trait. So it works the same with reposition, right? Reposition says a trap. So it says play this card face down into your tenacity. So it does nothing, right? It just plays into your tenacity face down. Boop, that's it, done. But when flipped face up on your tenacity, or in your tenacity is the correct way to say that, exhaust an enemy card. So when this card is in your tenacity, face down is bad, right? It starts bad. And then when you flip it, due to maybe the ancient bow, you get to then perform its effects, which is exhaust an enemy card. And that's very good. That's super, super cool. So then if you parry with it later, you can flip it face down again. And then if you have some way to flip it by other cards, you get to do the effect again. So the longer this stays in your tenacity to flip face up, face down, face up, face down, all that stuff, the more you get out of the traps. That's how traps work. You put them into your tenacity face down, and then you flip them face up to trigger them. Really good. It works with a lot of other cards. I'll have to go into that in a different video, but the synergies of it. Explosive trap is a trap as well. You play it into your tenacity face down, like the poison trap, and then when this is flipped face up, deal 3 damage. So this is a free pop for 3. And if you get this more than once, man, is that strong. Especially with other ones, like you swing, right? Flip a card face up, you flip your explosive trap, you get to trigger its effects, and you get to draw another card. Like it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Okay, this card's art is weird. AI kind of popped off on this one, and I don't. It's just weird. Okay, snare trap. So snare trap is a skill. I'm gonna not keep this on here for that long. When flipped face up, your opponent discards 1 random card from their hand. Snare trap is also very good. Once again, flipped face up with effects, play it face down, and you get to activate its effect every time you flip it face up. So snare trap is really good. So these are her traps. This is her gimmick. This is the things that she does and wants to do. So I wish it was easier for her to do that with her hero ability. I wish her hero ability wasn't like a after you trigger it, do it. It should be like somehow a set it or something. Yes. Okay, suppressing shot. Suppressing shot is amazing. I love this card. It's a 1 cost neutral card, so any character can play it in any deck. deal 3 damage, and that's already good because it immediately requires a defense of some kind. Then, if a defense card or defense ability is not played during this attack, flip up to 1 card in your tenacity. This wording is a little goofy and clunky, and you see I had to add a word in there too. So I wish the wording was better, but the idea is the same, is that if they somehow react to this shot by doing something, like playing a card or activating an effect or something, then you get to flip one of your cards, whether that's flipping and a trap face up to trigger its effects along with this card, or flipping it face down to set it again to flip with another card. Suppressing shot is really good. So that's Amber. She's got a lot of synergy because of her traps being placed face down. There's a lot of other characters in the game that can flip those cards face up. Really specifically, Melody can do it. Hilda, I think, has a way. Oh, maybe I'm tripping. I might be tripping on Hilda. Katrina and Amber go hand in hand, which, like I said, I'll get into that in another video. But ideally, yeah, they work super well together, and that's a thematic story reason. So I think if we cleaned up her bow and her hero ability, everything will be so much more fun with her. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for getting this far in the video. Thank you so much for caring about this wonderful game that I created. And if you have any ideas at all, shoot them in the comments, man. Let's make it happen. Let's get you as a part-time developer. It's fun. It's really fun. It's really easy to make these things in a kind of a way that you're like, here's a hero and here's their kit, and now I can play these cards anywhere I want to. And that's a really, really fun thing to do. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, wherever you are in the world, have a great night, weekend, day, morning, wherever it is. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later.